Mostly sunny skies Saturday and Sunday. You'll be in the mid to upper 70s Saturday, low 80s Sunday. Jonesboro Community Radio Station, we're KLEK 102.5 FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. US President Donald Trump has used Twitter to warn sacked FBI Director James Comey against leaking to the media. The US and China have reached a 10-point trade deal that opens the Chinese market to US credit ratings agencies and credit card companies. UK opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn says he isn't a pacifist but would only sanction military action as a last resort. And German Chancellor Angela Merkel's CDU party is ahead in several polls ahead of regional elections on Sunday.
It's 9:01.
Community Conversations is brought to you by Arkansas Early Learning, offering no-cost childcare in Jonesboro and Northeast Arkansas. Applications at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
KLEK LP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
KLEK 102.5 FM, good morning to you on your Friday. It's the Friday before Mother's Day, so happy early Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. This is Community Conversations. Kato Wonder is in the studio with you. I'm joined by my co-host, Mrs. Kubila Harden, and joining us in the studio today is Dr. Kyle T. Miller. Dr. Miller is the director of the Delta Cultural Center in Helena, Arkansas. And today we're going to talk about his work with the Delta Cultural Center, what the Delta Cultural Center does for the Delta region, which I actually found out before we went live on the air, covers 27 counties throughout eastern Arkansas. And we're also doing a second segment, we're going to talk about the upcoming Delta Gospel Fest, which is an event that the Delta Cultural Center is putting on for the community. And then doing our wrap up, we're going to even give away a couple prizes as well. So we want to thank Dr. Miller for coming by the studio today. And now I should turn over to my co-host, Mrs. Kubila Harden.
Good morning, Dr. Miller. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
All right. I'm looking forward to hearing all the wonderful information you have to share about the Delta Cultural Center. I apologize. Even I'm from that area, and I don't know anything about it. So I am looking forward to hearing all about the wonderful services that you all provide. And before we get into that, I would like you to please give our listeners and viewers a little background about yourself, since this is your first time in our studios.
Hey, well, I'm Kyle Miller. I am from the Helena area, born in Pine Bluff, but basically grew up in Helena my whole life. Went to college, University of Central Arkansas. Spent 7 years in the television news business. Long story short, I got tired of covering babies in trash dumpsters and shootings in the hood and stuff like that. So I made a career change, and well, most people do it in public relations.
Okay.
And so went into public relations. Actually, when I moved back to the Arkansas area, did public relations for the Delta Culture Center, which is where I am now. And from there, has spent majority of my career, I would say day job, because I also have another job in the entertainment business, but day job in education. Okay. So that's where I am now. Then with that, I also have a television and film business, Positive Images in Christ. Been producing plays for about 10 years. And actually, Leganza used to do some of the promotion for my.
In fact, I worked with Kyle on his it was his second play. Gold Digger actually helped with the video production of it. Now, I'm gonna just give a little quick testimony about Kyle.
Okay, testify.
Well, when we were working on Gold Digger, Kyle confided to me. He said, "Again, I'm really worried. I've invested all of this money and time into this, and what if I lose money and I can't afford to pay my actors?" I said, "Kyle, anything that glorifies the name of God, I don't think you'll fail at. And at least to my knowledge, I mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, you've never lost money on a play or a movie yet, have you?"
I did lose money on one play, and that was my fault.
Okay, but that's one versus one loss versus like how many wins?
10.
Well, see, well, there you go. So what I say still stands.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So
wow, I had forgotten about that again.
Well, I still share it with people this day.
That's
when
a
I talk
powerful testimony. Thank you, man.
So some way or another, you made your way back around
Mm-hmm.
to public,
Mm-hmm.
to media and communications,
Mm-hmm.
even though you're not
Yeah.
on the other side of the camera. Well, you're on the
Yeah,
different
now
side.
now I'm on the other side. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So let's talk about what made you decide, or how did you make the leap from, education
Mm-hmm.
to, okay, I want to make movies, I want to write books, or I want to write plays, or I want to do whatever, I want to write. What?
Well, I guess probably I kind of explain how I even got into it. So I had a theater and drama background
Okay.
in early days, and then not to belabor, but I had a really negative experience with my drama coach when I was in high school.
Okay.
And so basically, I just said, well, forget this. I'm just not going to do any type of anything. And of course, it was just too much in my blood. So
Okay.
when I went to college, I wound up in television, radio, television, film. Actually,
Okay.
got my master's here at Arkansas State University.
Okay.
And,
Go Red Wolves.
yeah, go
Well,
Red
back then,
Wolves.
Indians.
It was an Indian Joe, but showing my age now. But yeah, so and it was a wonderful experience. I learned a lot while I was here and loved it for a while, and then the television news just got to be a grind. It's just really a grind. So went into education, and so moved back to Arkansas.
Okay.
Auditioned for a show, didn't get the part, which is not really a big deal.
Okay.
That's just kind of the part of the thing with acting. It's more parts you don't get than you ever receive.
Okay.
So, but with that, I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, well, I was kind of bummed out because the part that they had me read for was a part that I had already played I had played in another city. That's like I knew I had nailed the audition and everything, and they, whatever, for whatever reason, they went in another direction. So I was talking to my friend about it, and she was like, well, Kyle, why don't you just write your own play? I had never thought about that. That was my first play, Ashley and Jeremy, so we did. And what Gans is talking about, not so much removed, because that show was like 2 years before Gold Digger. And I remember opening night, and I was sitting there, and it was so quiet, because the curtain is closed, and we were getting ready to go on stage. And so my stage manager goes out to get a house rules, don't turn your cell phones off and all that other stuff that they do. And I was like, oh man, they're so quiet. I said, is anybody there? So my biggest fear was that the curtain was going to open and nobody was in the audience.
Oh, no.
But the curtain opened and the house was full, and I breathed a sigh of relief, and I said, hey, from this point on, I'm good. So,
Okay.
and that's how I got into it. Now, what's really interesting is, so fast forward 10 years later, when we with Jeremy Brooks is the lead character in Ashley and Jeremy, and so it was an adaptation, a film adaptation of the play. So my first play and my first film, it just all came full circle. So it was an awesome experience.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you've gotten your feet wet, you've done plays, you've done a few films, and then how did you make your way to the Delta Cultural Center?
Okay, so as I mentioned, I had actually worked at the Culture Center when I first moved back to Arkansas. I was from Los Angeles. However, never had any idea that I would actually be returning. I loved my job when I was there, and I had moved on to other things. And so I got a phone call from someone, and they were like, well, you should consider applying. And I knew that the former director had left, and I just didn't bother to apply. I said, they would never hire me. I said they probably had their own, have whoever they want for that job. So I didn't even put my name in. And so then 2 months later, I see the job is still open. So I'm like, okay. So I asked someone about it. He said, well, you should apply. So I did, and long story short, the governor appointed me, and so.
That's wonderful.
Here I am.
Appointed by the governor.
Appointed by the governor. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Yeah,
So that
it's a
means
great
that this
job.
center plays a big role.
It does, and every day I'm, blessed and humbled. A few days ago, someone from City Council came in, and they came in to visit and talk business. And he was like, Kyle, so you're over all of this? And I said, yeah, I guess I am. I was like, wow, God is good.
Well,
And Quabila to mention, I'm from Helena, just like Kyle, so I've actually been to the Delta Cultural Center. It has a lot of things there. Of course, it's two things is probably maybe three things is most famous for now. First is the train depot, which is train car that they actually renovated and actually attached to the side of the building and has some historical artifacts in it. And the second is they actually have a little radio studio downtown where Sunshine Sunny Payne broadcasts King Biscuit Time. It's the longest running blues show in the world. I think it's been going on I think since the 40s. Yeah. I think it started in like the 40s.
King Biscuit Blues Fest?
And every day I think at like 12
since
1951. And every day at 12:15 he goes to this little studio, and it's got plexiglass all around it, so you can actually sit down and watch him host this blues show. Wow. And then the third thing is the Cherry Street Pavilion, which is basically a gigantic stage in which several shows, and I'm sure when we talk about in the next segment about the Gospel Fest, that's where they'll be held, but that's where all the shows are held from, like the King Biscuit Blues Festival and all the other festivals that people have downtown. So it's a lot in the Delta Cultural Center. A lot of exhibits, especially on Civil War, all of the Battle of Helena, and it's just a ton of stuff in there.
All right. So, okay. Wow, that's amazing.
That's great.
All right. So you mentioned earlier when we were off air that this is a museum, and like Leganzi was mentioning, there's several things to see. Okay, so what are some of the things that people can expect, besides the train depot? Well, first, let's tell us more about the train depot.
Okay, so the train depot is actually, and some people don't know this, but actually, there used to be a train. It started somewhere south of Elaine, which some people might not even know where Elaine is, but Elaine is real far south. South of Helena, probably about 30 miles south of Helena. Okay. And the train would run there. And we know we can document that it went through Memphis, probably to St. Louis, going that far in that direction. And it was a train that it was called the Delta Eagle, and it was a train that ran in Helena for many years.
So on the inside of the the car, does it look similar to what it would have looked like back then?
It does. It does, and it's an actual depot. I mean, it's an actual train caboose.
Okay.
One piece of it, because obviously a train is huge, but it's a piece of it. So yeah, you can go in, and they've got a little wheel kind of semblance of what a train conductor would have had, and it's got a little up and down stairs in it, so you can walk through it and experience it and stuff. So it's real cool. And then what we did is it's been made to where it's I guess you could say cemented or fortified to the building. So when you go inside the old depot, which was actually the place where people caught their trains, you can walk through that, see our exhibits, and then to the side you can actually get in the caboose and get a real semblance of what it was like in the train.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
So what are some other things outside of the radio station and the pavilion? What are some other exhibits that people can expect to see?
Okay, so we've got several permanent exhibits. As Leganzi was mentioning, we have a Civil War exhibit. And this is something that's really kind of interesting, especially, and I say this in particular with African Americans, because as a rule, at least I was sometimes kind of turned off with Civil War because of what I had learned in high school and college. And so basically, when I think the South and I think Civil War, I immediately think the Confederates and people who were defecting from the Union and who were advocates for slavery and things of that nature. And of course, that is part of our story, and it's a story that should be told because it's part of our history. However, a secret that a lot of people don't know is that Helena was actually a Union camp. So the Union actually started from somewhere we know somewhere further east, from maybe Little Rock, came in through Forest City. And they told the slaves, they said, hey, if you'll follow us, you can come on into Helena, you can gain your freedom. And that's how even my great-grandfather and several African Americans got their freedom, because they came in with the Union Army as contraband. And this was before the Civil War was over. This was before Reconstruction.
And not to interrupt, I believe they're actually getting ready to build some kind of marker or something to tell the history of the contraband camp. They already have on South Bisco, which is down the street from where my mom lives, the Freedom Park that has like interpretive statues of slaves and black soldiers that fought for the war. They're like these bronze statues that are in formation, and it's actually a pretty neat exhibit. We're speaking with Dr. Kyle T. Miller of the Delta Cultural Center, talking about the Delta Cultural Center. And don't forget, in our next segment, we're going to talk about the Gospel Fest. You can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also leave your questions and your comments on our Facebook live stream, and we do have a Facebook shout out to Catherine Robinson, and Mrs. Robinson says, thanks for telling of your success.
Hey, Catherine.
Good morning.
Thanks for listening, Catherine.
I also want to shout out, even though she haven't commented yet, but shout out to Dr. Sharice Jones Branch. I'm very sure that she's listening. I'm sure she's probably enjoying this because she, she's the history professor, and
Hey, Dr. Branch.
and she's definitely a student of history. So
she loves this type of stuff.
So I'm sure
we need to get her to come help us on some stuff at the Culture Center.
I'm sure she would love it.
I'm sure she would. I mean, because she definitely has written a lot of history. Did a lot of research on history in the South.
We need to talk. Yeah.
Well, we'll give her a call after the show.
Absolutely.
All right. So, do you find that many students, college and high school, or even junior high, do they take full advantage of what the center has to offer and appreciate the value of the information that's there?
I think we're getting there.
Okay.
I think that some know about us and definitely are aware. We just hired a new education person, Richard Spillman, and he's been doing a fantastic job as far as integrating our schools. And I mean, he's just been great for our museum. So what he's done is he's put together like several different programs. Well, like one of them may be making butter. One of them may be basket weaving. I mean, he's got all these different classes that he does with the kids and gives them hands-on activities to do. And the schools can actually call and schedule, and they can come to the center, or he can even go to their location. And so that's not just for Helena, that's for everyone in this area. So even someone in Jonesboro, if their class wanted to take a trip to the Culture Center and they wanted a class tailored for them, or if they wanted our education person to come to their classroom, they could do that as well.
And while you bring that up, one of the things we said off there was that you mentioned that the Delta Cultural Center covers 27 counties, and so let's kind of talk about the scope of the Delta Cultural Center as far as the reach of the counties.
Well, and I'll be flat-foot honest with you, and I've talked to my staff about this, and I've made it very clear with the Department of Arkansas Heritage, my boss is there, that I definitely want to extend our reach. I think we've done a really good job of exposing our awareness in Phillips County, to Lee County to some degree. But other than that, I think we basically have not served as much of our area as we should, and for some various reasons, and some of for good reasons. But one of the things that I definitely want to do is make the Delta Cultural Center a center for the Delta. So that means that we should have just as much of an influence in Jonesboro as we do in Helena, as we do in Lake Village. All over that Delta, because the Delta is pretty exhaustive. I mean, it starts from the south, the northern tip of Arkansas, and goes all the way down to the southern tip. And a lot of times when we say Delta, we just immediately think, Phillips County, Mississippi.
Yes, in parts of Tennessee, that little triangle area between Tennessee.
Yeah, because I thought the same thing. I thought that Jonesboro was considered more Crowley's Ridge as opposed to the Delta.
It's actually considered one of our counties in the Delta. It's classified as part of the Delta, so.
Maybe when we go to break, I can pull up a map that'll give me more of an idea of where.
Yeah, because if you do, you'll look on there and you'll see it's outlined. You say Delta, Arkansas Delta map, and it'll outline all of the counties and stuff.
And I would love to see in the upcoming months and years more schools and individuals and organizations taking advantage of what the center has to offer and all of the information that you have. You mentioned also that you do some advocacy work.
Yeah, so some of the advocacy work is like dealing with different local organizations. For one thing, so we have Centennial Missionary Baptist Church, which is one of the oldest African American structures in the United States, and it's been closed since '94 because of some different structural issues. So now that foundation, they're pulling themselves together not only to reunite themselves as a church and start having church again, but to also get the building renovated. So one of the things we've done is help them in hosting some public programs to bring awareness, and we're working with Centennial Church to actually get the church on the national park list, which would be huge, because then that would mean that it would become it would become a property of the United States government, and then it would be renovated and taken care of, and would be on that same list with Yosemite and 16th Street Baptist Church, where the bombings were in Alabama, or with Martin Luther King's church, Ebenezer. So it's one of those things that we're working on. We're working and helping them with, and also trying to get them founded as a foundation, so that then they can start writing for some grants and things of that nature.
And it's actually a beautiful facility. My memory is fuzzy, but I believe the designer of the church was maybe like one of the very first to design something of that scale, maybe period, not just for black churches. But again, my memory's fuzzy, so don't quote me on that.
His name was Price, and he was an architect. And to what we know, after he designed Centennial, we can't find where he did any other churches, which is really kind of amazing, considering how big and beautiful the church is.
It really is, and hopefully we can see that church restored. Speaking with Dr. Kyle T. Miller of the Delta Cultural Center. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about Gospel Fest. We're going to get a praise zone. It is going down. Listen to KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
How can you and your kids achieve greatness? I'm Mark Merrill with today's Family Minute. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told us what greatness is all about. He said, "Everyone can be great because everyone can serve." One of our jobs as parents is to talk to our kids about the significance of serving others and show them how to do it. Here are 5 places you and your kids can serve others. First, serve in your home. You don't have to look any further than the 4 walls of your home to serve others. Doing chores together around the house, like washing dishes, vacuuming, and taking the garbage out, will teach your child how to serve. Remember, your family first.
Submit your dad for the Omaha Steaks All-Pro Dad of the Year at omahasteaks.com/Dad of the Year.
Family Minute is made possible by the Kappa Nu Omega chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, a non-profit organization committed to service to all mankind. Kappa Nu Omega Alpha Kappa Alpha on Facebook and KNOMEGA1908.com.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by
the 17th Annual Arkansas Delta Family Gospel Fest, May 20th at the Cherry Street Pavilion in Helena, Arkansas. The festivities kick off at noon with the Sounds of Fullness of Joy Choir. Gospel nationally known rapper, songwriter, producer, and pastor from Real Preachers of Atlanta, Canton Jones. Headline performer and Grammy winner, Erica Campbell of Mary Mary. For information, deltaculturalcenter.com or 870-338-4350. Gospel Fest is brought to you by Delta Cultural Center, the Department of Arkansas Heritage, and the National and Cultural Resources Council.
Support for KLEK is brought to you by Fullness of Joy Ministries, 2120 Thorn Street, Jonesboro, under the direction of Bishop Adrian Rogers and co-pastor Susan Rogers. www.fjministries.org.
Did you know KLEK has a brand new streaming app? That's right, you can listen to KLEK 102.5 FM anywhere in the world. The app is available for all Android phones and tablets, as well as iPhones and iPads. Just search your app store for KLEK and download the KLEK app for free today. And don't miss a beat of the education, entertainment, and empowerment on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK with our guest, Dr. Kyle T. Miller of the Delta Cultural Center in Helena, Arkansas. You're tuned into Community Conversations. We've been having a very lively discussion about all of the things that the Delta Cultural Center has to offer. And of course now, in addition to providing education, they also provide entertainment. And so with that, we're going to transition to our discussion about the Delta Cultural Center Gospel Fest, I believe.
That's right.
Arkansas Delta Family Gospel.
Okay, well, I didn't have the flyer in front of me.
It's a mouthful. It is a mouthful.
Okay. All right, so tell us how this event came to be. Like how...
Okay, I'm glad you asked that. Okay, so 17 years ago, really, it was really more like 20 years ago, when the Visitor Center, which is at 141 Cherry Street in Helena, was open. We have this section, as Leganti was mentioning, as part of the exhibit. It's called Delta Sounds, and so it's supposed to be of all of the music that's indigenous of the Arkansas Delta. So you've got a very, very prominent section of blues, and then it's a little sprinkling. They talk about country, and then they talk about gospel, because those are primarily the three music forms that really had a big major impact in the Delta, and how the Delta has impacted even the United States. Okay. And so one of the local businessmen in town who owns the gospel radio station, Elijah Mundy, he comes into, we had this big grand opening. He comes in and he sees all the blues, and he sees a little bit of country, then he sees this one little corner on gospel, and he's like, okay, so where is the influence of gospel? He said, really the biggest influence in the Delta has been gospel more so than it has been blues. He said, because all of the blues people learned how to play blues from the church and the gospel. So the director at the time, John Matthews, he said, well, he kind of has a point. And he was like, well, how can I address this issue? So being proactive, he came up with the idea, well, maybe we have a gospel festival. Okay. And so he pulled in Elijah and a team of constituents, because John actually didn't really know anything about gospel music, but he was a smart man because he knew to pull in people who were experts in that area. So he put together what I would consider to be a blue ribbon panel of people who knew about gospel. So Elijah Mundy, who owned the local gospel station, he brought in a guy, Johnny Kennard, which was a blues promoter, along with a team of other people, and that's how they started the gospel festival. And our task is to, while being entertaining, also give a historical understanding of gospel music and its impact in the Delta. So this year, while people are at the concert, we'll have video screens, and in between the acts as they're performing, we'll have these little historical vignettes that'll explain gospel music, going all the way from field songs and spirituals to choirs and quartets, to contemporary, to what we have now today.
Oh, wow.
So you're gonna get your praise on and get your education on at the same time.
Yeah, and making it fun and entertaining. And what's really been awesome, we're really super. This first time I'm announcing it here. I'm really excited about it. So we started putting together the interviews, and the interviews have been going so well that our promotion team with Mangum Holcomb, the advertising firm, they then went and spoke with Gabe Mahan, and Gabe Mahan is the producer and director of Dreamland. I don't know if you saw Dreamland on PBS.
I've heard of it.
And it basically talks about 6th Street, Little Rock, and how impactful that was at that particular time period. Well, that series is now being, it's getting a lot of acclaim and awards and winning film festivals and stuff. So now we got him on board, Gabe on board, and Gabe was like, we should turn this into a documentary. So along with that, we'll eventually have a full, 60-minute documentary that will talk about gospel music, and that'll hopefully be on a TV station near you. So.
And I have to give another shout out to Dr. Brent. She turned us on. One day we were doing a show and just giving announcements of things going on, and she gave us the link to that show. Like I said, she's a big history buff, so and she focuses a lot on rural history. Yes. So she would love.
Hopefully, Dr. Branch can come to the Gospel Fest and we can do some work together.
Well, like I said, we're gonna definitely soon we get out there, we'll try to connect you with it.
That'd be awesome.
She hasn't commented yet. I don't know if I'm sure she's watching, just maybe be grading papers or something and haven't commented.
Great. Yeah, it is. What? Yeah, it is that time of the year.
Yes, sir. Graduation tomorrow.
Yes.
All right. So I'm sure in the beginning stages of this festival, was it hard to get special guests to come and perform, or did people immediately did they immediately gravitate toward wow, something finally, that we want to support?
It was a little bit of both. You have some of the people who they immediately, it's just like when anything, they immediately get on board. They see the significance of it, they see the relevancy of it, and they just immediately get on. Okay. And then you have others who are kind of waiting in the corners, kind of trying to see what's going on. Or is this legitimate or stuff like that? That's just kind of the culture of our people. Yeah. But for the most part, people have been really supportive and really accepting of it. And we had some years where our attendance kind of went down, and now I'm the director, and so I'm moving towards, making the gospel festival what it should be.
Now, have you gotten to the point where you've had to turn people away as far as performers? So many people have said, I want to perform, but you're like, okay, we only can fit so many on the bill.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So you got two things: time and budget. And those things just are what they are. And so there's been some super duper talented people who reached out to me after I had set the itinerary, and I was like, oh man, I would love to have them, but it's just we had already moved forward. We were already booked, and but I always tell people, if you didn't make the itinerary this year, that's fine, because I definitely have your name and your number, and when I'm looking at the itinerary for next year, and I'm going to start early this year, because I didn't come to the Culture Center till October. Okay. We started booking in November, because you basically have to go that far out just to get people's calendars.
Oh wow!
You're dealing with someone like Erica Campbell or Ken Jones. They may be booked anywhere from a year to 2 years out, and we just kind of got blessed that she was in between gigs, and she could fit us in between two different gigs that she had. So that's how we got her. But a lot of times it's very difficult to get people. You have to start out really early.
All right. So let's talk about the event. It is going down on May 20th.
May 20th.
That's
next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
And it's free.
Okay.
It's free.
You can't beat free. People. May 20th. And what is the time? I don't see a time.
Starts at noon, and we go till 7 o'clock. And, it's not going to be CP time. We start right on time. So...
Hold it, remix. Say that one more time.
It's not color people time. We starting right at noon. Here comes a caller now asking questions. They probably
KLEK, who's this? KLEK, who's this? Yep, I guess they got scared.
That's okay. Don't be shy. Call back. They got nervous. But so people like, what time Erica get on? I'll just be like, just get there.
Doesn't matter.
Get there. She's gonna be there. She's the final act, so just get there and be there on time.
Come for the whole festival.
Yeah.
Enjoy the experience. Enjoy the education that's going to be. Okay, one more time.
Well, maybe this time they won't be afraid. KLEK, who's this? KLEK.
Hello.
Hey. Caller, are you there?
What's going on, brother?
Not too much. Who's this?
Huh?
Who is this?
This is Adam.
How you doing, Adam?
Hey, Adam, what's going on, man?
What's going on, buddy?
All right, you flying down from Massachusetts down to
This must be someone you know, Kyle.
It is. He's one of my partners, and he must be listening. He probably saw it on my Facebook page. You doing okay?
Yeah.
You coming to Gospel Fest next week?
Yeah, right.
All righty. Well, hey man, we'll call me back later. We'll talk some more. But I'm glad you called in. I know people are listening.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right, take care, Adam. And of course, if you'd like to call Kyle, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. You can also leave your questions and your comments on our Facebook live stream. I don't have any new comments, but we do have some people watching, so thank you to all that are watching. We're talking about the Delta Cultural Center Gospel Festival next Saturday at the downtown Cherry Street Pavilion. It's a free concert sponsored by the Delta Cultural Center. And I believe they got a whole bunch of other sponsors as well who help to bring this community event to the Delta region.
There's the Department of Arkansas Heritage. Did I say that right?
That's right.
And then Natural and Cultural Resources Council. Okay. Now I want to ask: are there going to be vendors, food?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to say, are there going to be like
yes, ma'am.
people having booths?
We're going to have food and booths and people selling stuff.
So would it be like health fair booths and other things providing community information?
Well, there'll be some community information, but it won't be any health fair. People are going to be eating fried fish and barbecue.
Yeah, they don't want to talk about blood pressure and diabetes.
However, you know, Gansy, you make a good point, and that might be something for us to look at for next year. Because, you know, I don't want to take a big rabbit trail, but, you know, that's one of the things, you know, especially in the gospel arena. So I'm going to say this just real quickly, and then we'll get back to the thing. But, you know, so you become a Christian, right? And you're not supposed to drink, you're not supposed to smoke, you're not supposed to do drugs, you know, do that thing. So what do? You eat. Yeah. So that's why. And so diabetes and cholesterol, heart problems, weight problems, that's a big issue in the church. And I'm glad you mentioned that, Gansy. And I'm gonna definitely look at that next year as having some type of health thing because we need it.
Well, I know some of the other festivals that they've had in Helena, even though they had the funnel, you left out the funnel cakes, they would still, you know, they would still have the health booths.
That's right.
Now, with some of the other vendors, will it be local people that are from the area that, you know, the handmade
people from
items?
all over the state. We've got some people coming in from other areas, setting up, food, funnel cakes, like Gansy said, barbecue, fried fish. We've got some clothing vendors selling some African gear and things of that nature. So it's going to be fun.
So
a lot of good shopping.
for everybody.
Yeah, for everybody. Oh, and let me share this with you, and then I'll shut up with Gansy. We've also got the kids zone this year. This is the first time we've ever done this, but the problem we would have is, like, especially the early morning with the quartet stuff, you know, the kids really they want to they're into the more contemporary stuff, and so we had kids running around. So what we decided to do was have a kids zone. So we're gonna have a bouncy house, a water slide, and that'll be free. But we'll also have popcorn, cotton candy, and snow cones for purchasing. So.
We have another Facebook shout out. This is from Michael Boone Sr. He says, my guy Kyle Miller and my classmate G. Kale. We appreciate your classmate. Class of 96 is in the building. So appreciate you, Mike, for checking in today.
What's up, Newt?
I think his new name on Instagram is Newt Boone.
Newt Boone. Newt Boone. Yo, baby.
All right, I feel
Well,
you know,
alphas are running this show today, though.
Hey, fine.
Oh, 6. Oh, yeah, could be. Like, Kyle is also a member of Alpha Phi Fraternity Incorporated.
Alrighty. And then I'm the only eyeball out. I'm from Lee County. Everybody else here is from Phillips County.
That's okay. Your family, y'all right up the corner.
Yeah,
you know y'all are.
Well, I think we're past those days where Phillips County and Lee County used to get the fights at ball games and band concerts and whatnot. But
yeah, you're not gonna rock my car, because you know Mariana used to rock our bus.
Well, I ain't want Helltown. We did some stuff too now.
All right, let's get back.
Helena, Mariana, Forest City, well, really the whole Delta. We would just get down. But back to education.
Okay, so this Family Gospel Festival.
Yeah.
I'm sure that everyone that has been a part of before is looking forward to what's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
And I know, when you have a big name on the ticket, people are always looking forward to that. But I really hope that people take advantage of everything else you have to offer and realize this is something that benefits the area. Like you said, the education that comes along with it. You will be displaying information on big screens.
That's right.
All throughout the show. So, and then eventually, now will this particular event be the one that is turned into the documentary, or will it be video collected from all of the events?
It's gonna be some from previous events,
Okay.
and then this event, and then also some interviews. So we, like for instance, we interviewed Dr. Ruth Ann Hawkins, from Arkansas State University.
Okay.
And she's talking a little bit about gospel music and its impact with with rock and roll. Because people don't realize that the only Grammys that Elvis Presley ever won were in gospel.
Really?
The only Grammys that Elvis Presley ever won were in gospel, and she brought that point out. I did not know that, but I did know, and that's why I wanted her to talk about it, was that whenever Elvis Presley was distressed or he was upset, he wanted to listen to gospel music. Matter of fact, Elvis never even listened to rock and roll, except the music that he sang. Whenever he listened to music, he always listened to gospel music. He actually auditioned for a gospel group before he got his recording contract. They turned him down, which is really funny. They turned him down, and so then he went to go make millions singing rock and roll.
But they can kick themselves now.
But gospel was a huge part. Johnny Cash.
Okay.
I always went back to gospel. And even the Millionaire Quartet, when it was a time back in the 50s when it was Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Johnny Cash, and they were all in a record studio together. And Ruth Ann Hawkins brought this to my attention, that the only songs that all of them knew were gospel. So when they got together, the recording that they did, it was gospel music. So there was just those types of stories, that I want to tell to let people know the impact of, because it really all starts with gospel. Mm-hmm. Everyone started in gospel, and then they branched out and did other types of music.
Wow. Well, I grew up in the area where quartets and groups were like really big.
Oh yeah, Lee County.
Yes.
Speaking of which, we got to tell the lineup because one of your homeboys, his group, the Eternal Light Singers.
Oh really?
Pastor Buzard. He'll be there. He'll be there performing.
He's a friend of our family. A lot of my cousins, I'm the baby, well, one of the babies of the family. So a lot of my cousins that are probably 10 plus years older than me, I won't tell their ages, they went to high school with him and the Coleman brothers. My uncle actually sang with the Coleman brothers' dad in the group called the Friendly Five.
Wow.
So that tells my age a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, so I grew up in that time frame. And I truly enjoyed I enjoy all ranges of music, all groups, solos, quartets, whatever, choirs. I enjoyed it all. So, wow.
And I didn't mean to be rude. I was actually pulling up the schedule, so maybe I can share with you the rundown. Okay, so going in order from we started at 12 noon, and then we'll have Vernon Harris and Friends. Vernon Harris is a fantastic singer.
Okay.
He's from the Osceola Earl area. Now living in Little Rock, but basically he'll have a group ensemble that'll be singing field songs, spirit and spirituals.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have the Delta Cultural Center Youth and Children's Choir. Mm-hmm. So we'll have the babies and they'll be singing and stuff. And I actually got a chance to hear them last week. They sound really good. I was kind of peeping into the rehearsals, and they sound really good. Then we'll have the Gospel Wonders, which is a quartet group based out of Brinkley. So a lot of people know William Moore. He's one of the lead singers, a fantastic singer.
Okay.
With the Gospel Wonders. Then we'll have Randy and the Ready Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, the Ready Boys. They'll be performing, which is a local gospel group.
Okay.
Bishop Kenneth Robinson and Chosen, which is a quartet group that's real popular in the Central Arkansas area. Sheena Walker. She's a up-and-coming gospel artist. She has a new project out that's really doing really well right now. And she's a fantastic artist. And then we have Canton Jones.
Heard of him.
Yeah, Real Preachers of Atlanta.
Okay.
Canton Jones actually won a Stellar this year.
Okay.
Fantastic artist. Canton Jones, he won a Stellar this year. And Erica Campbell of Mary Mary.
And also, we left.
Oh, and we forgot. Opening up is fullness of joy.
I was just about to mention that.
Oh, wow.
So I know Minister Patrick Bean is going to be showing out on stage with his shades on. Shout out to you, Patrick. And also prayers to you. Minister Bean is actually dealing with a family situation, so we definitely want to keep Minister Bean lifted up in prayer. You're tuned to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM with our guest, Dr. Kyle T. Miller of the, I'm going to say KLEK County, of the Delta Cultural Center. We've been talking about Gospel Fest. When we come back, we're going to do some giveaways. Now, the fest is free, so we can't give away any tickets for it, but we've got some Delta Cultural Center swag that we're going to give away, so stay tuned, and of course, stay watching on our Facebook live stream, and you might win you some stuff. You listen to KLEK 102.5 FM.
You're listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM. We'll be right back.
We're back with Money Matters. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. If you're a newlywed, the IRS has a few tips to keep you ready for the tax issues that accompany marriage. First, the names and Social Security numbers on your tax return need to match your Social Security Administration records. Don't forget to submit a new Form W-4 to your employer. Also, if you and your honey plan to maintain a two-income household, know that the combination of you and your spouse's incomes will likely put you in a higher tax bracket. Consult Publication 505, Tax Withholding and Estimated Tax, for details. Update your address. This might seem like common sense, but it's easy to forget amidst all the wedding planning. And make sure your filing status is correct. For more information on tax issues for married couples, go to irs.gov. I'm Alfred Edmond Jr. for Money Matters, a product of American Urban Radio Networks.
Money Matters is made possible by the Jonesboro Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, a nonprofit organization dedicated to uncompromising commitment to communities, service, leadership, empowerment. www.jonesboroalumnidst.org.
Money Matters is brought to you by Bancorp South, offering checking, savings, loans, credit cards, and wealth management. 5 locations in Jonesboro to serve you. www.bancorpsouth.com or 870-972-9800.
Hey y'all, this is Dariana, and I'm one of the members of the Golden Pirates. Come see us live Friday night, May 12th, 7 o'clock at the Epicenter, 1899 CR 333 Hasbrook Road in Jonesboro, Arkansas. It's gonna be swinging, hair, back popping, and attitude. It's just gonna be lit. Come see us. You could get your tickets for $5 or 2 for $8. You could get your tickets from KLEK website. This event is a KLEK and Golden Pirates fundraiser.
Friday Night Live, May 12th at the Epic Center, starting at 7 o'clock p.m., featuring the Golden Firettes, Pink Diamonds, Dynamic Dance, Purple Dolls, and the Explosive Dreamettes dance teams. Don't miss it.
The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated was established on January 1st, 1977, originally serving Blytheville, Arkansas, and now serving Jonesboro, Blytheville, Osceola, Marion, and West Memphis, Arkansas. Today, the chapter continues to make an impact by focusing on Alpha's national community outreach initiatives such as My Brother's Keeper, A Voteless People is a Hopeless People, Go to High School, Go to College, Project Alpha, Boy Scouts, and the March of Dimes. The Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is committed to Alpha's mission of developing leaders, promoting brotherhood and academic excellence, while providing service and advocacy to the community. More information about the Mu Omicron Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated is available at MOL Alphas on Facebook or via email at molalphas@gmail.com.
Arkansas Early Learning prepares children up to 5 years old for kindergarten by offering a secure learning environment, qualified teachers at several locations in Northeast Arkansas at no cost. Applications are available at arearlylearning.org.
Arkansas Early Learning is a nonprofit organization.
When a woman gives her all to a boyfriend, she is hopeful about the future. Marriage was in her future plans until she received some shocking news. Now with her dreams shattered and life altered, she has to pick up the pieces and move forward. It was in this experience that she realized that love has no protection. KLEK 102.5 and Massey Production presents the inspirational gospel stage play, Love Has No Protection, a story that will inspire you, renew, and reaffirm your faith. Featuring performers from all over Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana. One big show, 7 p.m. Saturday, June 24th at the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door, and can be purchased at KLEK, Cool Cuts, and online at www.klekfm.org or by calling 870-277-1080. Bring the entire family Saturday, June 24th to the Arkansas State University Student Union Auditorium to see Love Has No Protection, the inspirational gospel stage play, 7 p.m. This event is a KLEK fundraiser.
Do you like the music you hear on KLEK 102.5 FM? Do you like the educational programming that we provide? Do you like the service we provide to the community? Do you like having a station to finally call your own that represents you? If so, please stop by or call any of our underwriters or sponsors that you hear on KLEK and tell them thank you for their support. The support of our underwriters and sponsors is vital for us to stay on the air. So be sure to let them know that you thank them for their support.
And now back to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM.
And we're back on Community Conversations on KLEK, and as you see, we're having a good time in the studio. Kato Wonder is here with you, along with my co-host, Mrs. Kabila Harden, and our guest, Dr. Kyle T. Miller of the Delta Cultural Center. We've been talking about the Delta Cultural Center, and we've been talking about Gospel Fest. We do got a Facebook shout-out. Shout-out to Miss I Am Queen Purtle, who says, like the new office. Well, we appreciate that you like our new office.
Thank you, Queen Pearl.
And, all right, so now we're going to get ready to do a giveaway. Like I said,
but Gansy, before we do that, I got to give you your props. I know this ain't part of the interview. But, okay, so Gansy has been on this grind for all these years with radio and still passionate with it. Some people have said radio has no more significance, but we know that that's not true. And he stuck with it, and I know you had to take some rough jobs and make a go of it. But, man, you've done the thing, and now you've started your own station, and it's successful, and it's a quality station. So, man, I just want to say kudos to you, man. Hats off, and I'm glad that you kept on, with your passion, and I see that it's paying off for you. So,
well, thank you, and I appreciate that. And I would say the same to you with your plays and your films and your music. Kyle actually has some music that we have in rotation here throughout the day through some of the artists that he worked with, and he's got. I wish this was around Christmas time, because he's got this one song that I really love. It's called "Love Came Down at Christmas," and whenever we start playing Christmas music, I get that heavy into rotation. But we don't have a lot of time left, so we want to go ahead and do a couple giveaways. We don't, like I said, the concert is free, but we do have some Delta Cultural Center swag. We've got some T-shirts, some CDs. What else we got?
A DVD.
A DVD.
It's called Delta Cultural Center Presents 2014 Front Porch Blues Bash DVD.
And let me say something about that Front Porch series. We actually have won awards for the Front Porch series through it's nationally and regionally recognized. So we're real proud of that. That's the stage at King Biscuit that we actually sponsor and produce ourselves.
So let me give you a rundown of some of the artists. Vinny C. Cheney, Lindsay Alexander, Clark Bueling, Charles Woods, Lonnie Shields. I mean, most people may not have heard, but I bet if you hear the songs, you will like, okay, I've heard that song before. I've heard bits and pieces of the song somewhere before.
Yeah, and that's real authentic blues right there. Wow. That's not the
simple chord.
Yeah, that's the real
acoustic,
deal right there.
We had, who was that we had in here?
Daddy Mac Blues Band.
Daddy Mac in here. So
so it'd be along that line.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so if you want them, there's two ways you can get it. One, you can give us a call at 870-277-1080. Once again, that phone number is 870-277-1080. The first person to call will get one of the prizes, and then also, if you're on our Facebook live stream, the first person to leave a comment will get the other prize. So it works just as simple. So if you want to get this T-shirt, this DVD, and this CD, just give us a call, 870-277-1080, or post a comment on our Facebook live stream, and it works just that easy. So
all right, so
while we wait,
I'll let Kabila take back over.
Well, I just want to talk more about, we got into a lot about what the Delta Cultural Center, and it's a word, tongue-tied word.
Yeah, it is.
What it has to offer. And you talked about expanding to to more counties, even though you quote-unquote represent 27 counties. Can people find information in the museum represented from all these different areas?
Yeah, especially in our depot area, because it deals specifically with the geography and natural and what we call natural history of the Delta, which is basically indigenous to anybody that lived in the Delta area. Like for instance, the flood of 27. That flood basically encompassed all of the Delta region. There was a real big flood. People were literally, we have pictures of people in boats, going around the city. We think about Katrina, it was kind of that magnitude. That magnitude. So that's why towards the late 20s, 30s, a lot of the cities in the Delta area started building levees, and that was the purpose, because they were continually having flooding issues. So we have a lot of things that deal with really all of the Delta, from our music to our culture. And also let me say this too, beside the exhibits, we also have programs. So for instance, we just hosted this January a Greens, Beans, and Cornbread Festival. And so it was a competition of people submitting their various green beans and cornbread dishes.
Oh wow.
And we've got a whole lot of other things like that that we do. We just opened up an exhibit called On the Pond, which basically deals with Delta catfish farming. And of course, some of the catfish farming is in this area, and in Lone Oak and different areas. But we'll have a fish fry, and talk about catfish farming and things of that nature. So we've got all kinds of things and programs that go to everything.
It's Friday, and it's nothing like a good old fish fry with some fixings on the side.
And of course, with the Saturday morning, and if you're in Helena, tune into the Saturday morning fish fry, and if you're here in Jonesboro, tune into the Saturday morning tailgate. You got to have that blues soundtrack. We got a Facebook shout out. This for Michael Boone. I'll be there. I want to volunteer in the Kids Zone representing Boys and Girls Club.
Awesome. I'm putting your name down, Mike.
Okay.
Right.
Is Mike eligible to win the shirt? Because technically he did, but the first person to comment.
We'll have to work on it.
I don't know if he works for the Cultural Center or has any ties to it. All right, well, Mike, you won the T-shirt, so take one of them T-shirts back to Helltown and give it to Mike.
Well, this
and
is
of course,
Mike's gift right here.
And of course, if you still want to win, we got one more left. Give us a call at 870-277.
And then the CD, Bobby Rush. Who doesn't know Bobby Rush?
And if you shy, we'll wait till we get off the air to take your call. But the first person that calls,
we don't want no shy folks. Go on and call. Okay. Be bold. Be bold.
Well, Kyle said be
bold. I like
bold.
to engage with my audience.
Okay, well we've got 90 seconds, so you got 90 seconds to win. 870-277-1080. Once again, that number is 870-277-1080. So any final thoughts, comments, shout outs, anything?
Yeah, so Delta Culture Center, Arkansas Family Gospel Festival.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
KLEK, who's this?
Hello, this is Melissa. Did I win?
Yes, Mrs. Jackson, you have won.
Hey, Miss Kabila.
Hey, Melissa.
This is Melissa Jackson. Hey, Gabby.
Hey, Melissa.
All right, so you got your T-shirt and a CD. Now you and the Mister can't be out having date night without the kids.
Hey, Melissa, you need to come down to the Gospel Festival next week. I know you like Erica Campbell from Mary Shackles. Go get your blessing.
Oh, she a preacher wife. She know about all that.
So she know about it. So you need to come on see Erica. And she's free. And she's free too, so you ain't got no excuse.
I have no excuse. You're right, and I have nothing going on. So
bring your family.
I gotta add that to the calendar.
All right.
Yes, ma'am. We'll be looking for you.
Well, Mrs. Jackson, we got about 20 seconds, so we're gonna have to let you go. All right, thank you.
All right.
All right, congratulations to both our winners. May each and every one of you have a great and blessed day. You listen to KLEK 102.5 FM.
Thank you for listening to Community Conversations on KLEK 102.5 FM, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.